Welcome back. A special court in Ahmedabad on Thursday acquitted all 67 accused in the Naroda communal violence case. This includes former BJP leader, ex-minister Maya Kodnani, ex-Bajrang Dal leader Babu Bajrangi and Vishwa Hindu Parishad leader Jaydeep Patel. The judges cited lack of evidence in the case. Remember, 11 people were killed in communal violence in Naroda area of Ahmedabad city in February 2002, and this incident happened after when a bandh was called, in fact, which was called to protest the Godhra train burning and massacre that had happened a day before. Just last month, all 4 men who were sentenced to death in Jaipur 2008 blast were also acquitted by Rajasthan High Court. In those serial blasts, 9 bombs exploded in 8 locations all over Jaipur's crowded old city. Over 70 people were killed, over 180 injured. Indian Mujahideen had claimed responsibility and 4 people were convicted. But in March 2023, Rajasthan High Court acquitted all 4 who got death penalty in this case. The court pulled up the police, in fact, flagging a botched investigation caused by institutional failure. Court cited lack of proof and also pointed out investigators' incompetency and lack of legal knowledge. The court also said nefarious means were employed by investigating agencies. They directed the Rajasthan DGP to act against the erring officers of the investigating team. Naturally, this is leading to questions if no one is guilty of killing all of these people who died in all of these cases. We take that forward with our guest joining us with the question if agencies are failing victims in these cases.
विशेष अदालत वहाँ की है, उससे कोई उम्मीद की नहीं जा सकती। जिस तरह से साक्ष्य वहाँ पर दबाए गए हैं और आर्गूमेंट पुलिस ने किया है, पुलिस ही तो आर्गूमेंट करती है, केस बनाती है।
एक हादसा हुआ था, तब जो सरकार दी, वो सरकार ने चौक्कस पॉलिटिकल इल मोटिव से नरेंद्र भाई को और पूरे गुजरात को बदनाम करने की साजिश की थी।
Let me go across to the guest joining us. Ajay Umat, Group Editor, Nav Gujarat Samay. Rashid Kidwai is author and senior journalist. Dr. Vikram Sim is former IPS officer, former UP DGP, also with us. I thank you all for your time. Ajay Umat, let me begin with you. It doesn't sit right with the public when, after years and years of probes, even sentencing in some cases, then the accused are completely acquitted. And the reason that the courts give is lack of evidence. That leaves a very bad taste in the mouth of everyone because somebody is guilty of these crimes.
Absolutely correct. That reminds me that, nobody killed Jessica Lal.
Yes.
The point I am making is that, yesterday I was there in the court and everybody was taking that a prosecution and some group, they have virtually botched up the investigation and inquiry. Remember one thing, this happened in 2002 on 28th of February. Then from 2002, they could not find any sterling evidence or witnesses in this case. And then, some activists and few NGOs, they came from outside Gujarat, they came with cyclostyle complaints, FIRs, and, printout statement where they said that, I have seen so-and-so doing, killing so-and-so. I have seen so-and-so instigating the mob. I have seen so-and-so setting ablaze this thing. So, and they even did not bother to struck down the other things. And Commissioner of Police at that point of time, he clubbed all the complaints in the form of an FRI 98/2002, and then the matter had gone to the court. So court said that, you have virtually botched up everything and this cannot happen. So ultimately matter had gone to Supreme Court, and in 2008, remember, after 2002 to 2008, there was virtually no investigation, no sterling evidence or witnesses have come out openly against this accused. And in 2008, Supreme Court appointed a special investigation team. And in 2010, based on their charge sheet that there was a criminal conspiracy to do this Naroda killings, 2010, the real case started in the court of law. So I personally feel, the time lost.
Yes.
They lost all kind of evidences and nobody was interested in doing complaints, and we all know the political pressures and everything.
Exactly. So I was going to come to the political question. Ajay ji, I want to ask you, for the accused, in this case, prominent individuals who've of course been condemned for 21 years. You look at somebody like Maya Kodnani, right? And
Right.
now she's
I will
acquitted.
explain you. In case of Maya Kodnani, Amit Bhai Shah,
Yes.
the present Home Minister, at that point of time, he was MLA in Gujarat Assembly. He came as defense
Yes.
witness, and he said, which I also feel was right, that Maya Ben Kodnani was in Assembly in morning 8:30 on 28th of February, and after that condolence resolution was passed in Assembly, all the MLAs of Bharatiya Janata Party, they had gone from Assembly to Sola Civil Hospital. So Amit Bhai said that I had seen her in Assembly and then I had seen her at Sola Civil Hospital. Now from that time onwards, somebody said that I had seen Maya Ben in Naroda Patiya. Somebody said that I had seen Maya Ben Kodnani in Naroda. Someone said I have seen her at Gulbarg Colony. Somebody said, two police officers said that, we have escorted her from Sola Civil Hospital to RTO and from RTO to her hospital.
Yes.
So many contradicting evidences have come in case of Maya Ben Kodnani.
No, there is some
And in
digital
one
evidence
case,
to support that she was in the assembly. So maybe that overruled. But I just want to take her example to ask the question. For all of these accused, how do we look at it? This is a salvaging of their reputations. Are we to feel sympathetic towards them as you would in other cases where somebody gets acquitted after 21 years? Or are we to feel something else? It's very complicated in these cases, because we recently had Jaipur blast accused who were sentenced to death also acquitted. And emotions and sentiments may be different in that case acquittal and this case acquittal. But what do you think? What does this mean for the accused in this case?
Unfortunately, it has happened in Hanet Pandya murder case also. It happened in Akshardham terrorist firing also. So
Yes.
that means that, investigation or, prosecution did not bother, or, there were no quality evidences or witnesses came forward to witness in the court of law. I personally feel in case of Babu Bajrangi, the only evidence was that, there was only one set of sting operation. Nobody came forward to give evidence or witness against him that yes, we saw Babu Bajrangi. So there was only one sting operation, and that CD was given in Gulbarg case also. The same CD was given in Naroda Patiya, and same was given in Naroda Gam. So there is a clear-cut case of double jeopardy. If a person is convicted in Naroda Patiya, which is 2.5 kilometers away from Naroda Gam, then he cannot be convicted in Naroda
So
Gam
were these
case.
individuals
So,
then,
you know,
Rashid
this
Kidwai,
is-
were these individuals then actually victims of a conspiracy where they were named and blamed and suffered for 21 years? Today, their reputations have been restored because clearly there wasn't enough evidence against them. And it has happened in other cases. So if in other cases, acquittals are looked at as, the fact that you need to feel sympathy for those accused, why not in this case?
Shivani, this is a very telling commentary on the criminal justice system. I am glad that you have Dr. Vikram Singh in this panel, and perhaps he can shed a light how this kind of investigation is done when the heinous crime against humanity are committed, and you see that whether it's the investigation part or the verdict is politicized. It is seen from the prism of Hindu-Muslim, it is seen from the prism of communal, secular. I think this is something that's because these are the crimes against the state, and obviously somebody had done it. If somebody had done it, that should be a culprit. Just Shivani, allow me to tell you something. See, since the post-independent India and before this Gujarat riots or Godhra riots, etc., we have had 52 communal riots in which over 15,000 people were killed, and not one person has been held guilty. people, periodically. So it's not a question of, that secular communal politics. It tells you something terrible about our society when people don't get justice, when investigation is not done properly, when the judicial trial does not take place. Why should it take 21 years?
No, absolutely. But Rashid Kitwai, it's not the case of communal riots alone. This is happening in terror cases also. Why don't we have similar outrage when it happens in terror cases to terror accused from Indian Mujahideen, no less?
Absolutely. Again, I'm saying, whether it's a terror or anything, these are all the crime against the state. You look at any developed country, you look at US, you look at Britain, you look at France, you look at any country that you can think of. There is one set of law, and these are not politicized. They are not, looked from the prism of Hindu Muslims. They are not looked from the prism of secular communal.
Oh, looks like unfortunately we've lost his link. But Vikram Singh, I want to come to you. This is indictment of the police. This is indictment of the investigation agencies. And if it continues like that, if it continues that court after court is indicting the investigation agencies, who are we to look towards to get good investigation done and get guilty to justice?
Shivani, this is a horrible form of criminal justice.
And in the present case, I would say that for many, many decades, I have not seen something as horrible and as disgraceful as this investigation. The court has said that the investigators have used nefarious tools, and this is an indictment, and it is something that is a very adverse impact on the careers of the investigators and the prosecutors. There was a practice that if such a thing happened in a court of law, there are consequences for the investigators and the prosecutors. I would like to ask you, Shivani, have you ever heard of an investigator or a prosecutor being taken to task for an adverse judgment or an adverse...
That's precisely the question I wanted to ask you. What are the penalties against these officers, and what is the remedy for the accused? The accused must also get some remedies. For 20 years, somebody has suffered and has been virtually condemned.
Shivani, there are inbuilt systems, but we have just looking the other way to facilitate whom it's an open one. I will go to say, to help the accused, Initially, what was done was, it was a bad investigation and worse prosecution. Therefore, the investigator and the prosecutor must be taken to task, must be punished. And if this punishment does not happen, we are again quoting the recipe of disaster and encouraging others to come out with shoddy investigation, not because they are shoddy. The investigators are very smart people. They are influenced monetarily, influenced politically, or both. And that is why you come up with an investigation that is almost like a veritable self-goal.
But sir, we need then, do you think a good deterrent would be that any investigating officers must be then indicted, and there must be some punitive action against them, some criminal action against them when something like this happens?
Precisely, Shivani. It is inbuilt in the system that when such a judgment comes, there is an acquittal report that is prepared, and the acquittal report then analyzes whose fault. Normally in such cases, and in this case, it was a bad investigation and a worse prosecution. Therefore, both need to be given deterrent punishment. We have not given these punishments, and you have quoted the recipe of disaster. This is exactly what I'm trying to say. And then now, at least to atone for the sins that, or the misdemeanors that the investigators and the prosecutors may have done, Shivani, please take pains to go to the higher court in appeal and put additional evidence what you chose to ignore. They must have washed up, and in an attempt to help the accused, they did what they should not have done. I know how a devious mind works.
Okay, I have to leave it at that. I do thank all of our guests for joining us. Clearly, the acquittals in both the 2008 Jaipur blast case and now the 2002 Naroda case have brought up a lot of questions of where these investigations are going. But let me move